Trump has made news in India once again, and this time with his bold address to Congress, where he announced reciprocal tariffs on Indian imports, reignited immigration debates, and declared that America is back. His speech actually saw fierce democratic opposition with lawmakers staging protests and walkouts. To break down these key developments and its implications, we speak with the senior journalist Sridhar Krishnaswamy, who covered North America and was in Washington for several years. Sir, thank you for joining me once again. And I'd like to start with Trump's America is back declaration. So from aggressive tariffs to immigration crackdowns, his policies have actually, have always sparked both support and concern. So do you see Trump's policies aligning with his bold vision, or is it more political posturing than actual progress?
Okay, thank you, Nisha. Thank you for having me on your program. Let's put it this way. What Trump is saying now is something that he's been saying for more than 1 year, especially during the campaign trail. And, many times during the campaign trail, he has been making the point that his job is to put America back on its feet. Because in his view, in his perception, the Biden administration simply did not have any view of what was going on. To him, the Biden administration was plain dumb. They did not know what to do on foreign policy. They threw open the border. No, don't get the impression that I am, parroting what Mr. Trump is saying. But this is what he has been saying, for the last several months. So, on one hand, what he told you today, or he told us today during his speech to an hour and 40 minutes to the Congress, was nothing more than a reiteration of his worldview to his MAGA crowd, to the Make America Great Again crowd, that extreme right wing, faction of his following. And it's also, at every opportunity, he was slamming the Biden administration, right from trade, foreign policy, and especially immigration.
My next question is about his announcement of reciprocal tariffs. So already, the Trump's announcement of reciprocal tariffs against India, China, and other major economies has, already triggered a lot of backlash with countries like Mexico and Canada imposing retaliatory tariffs. So Trump also acknowledged that there will be, quote unquote, little disturbance in the US economy. So what impact do you foresee these tariffs having on the American economy? And could this trade war actually backfire on the US?
So listen, it takes a very big stretch to imagine Mr. Trump saying, I am imposing all these tariffs and I know that you fellows will be in a lot of pain. He is not going to say that. But tariffs and trade wars are always hurting the Americans, especially the American consumers. Now look at the way New York, money markets have been, functioning in the last few days. They have gone crazy. They have gone berserk because they know what impact. If you put 25% on Canada and Mexico, they're going to come back with 25%. And if you put 20% on China, lo and behold, they're going to come back with 20%. Now, it doesn't matter how you couch your language. You can call them tariffs. You can call them reciprocal tariffs. Whatever it is, it's going to hurt people who count more. And that is the American consumer. Like, for example, today he said that he singled out India as among the countries that have the highest tariffs. And then he pointedly zeroed in on automobiles. See, that's, but Mr. Trump has got this big fixation about this Harley Davidson motorcycles, which at one point they were heavily taxed, apparently, in India. Now, I don't know what the tariff rate on all these motorcycles and cars are, but what Trump is saying is very simple. You slap me with 10%, I slap you with 10. You hit me with 50, I hit you with 50. You give me 100, I give you 100. So basically, he's saying that I'm going to play it fair and square. See, and this is the language that his crowd understands. His crowd does not understand why it is that America is posting deficits. His crowd does not understand that the way to reduce trade deficit is not by buying one-time weapons from America. That does not address. For example, if India is posting a $50 billion trade deficit with the United States, it will not make things honky dory if India goes and buys $50 billion worth of weapons from the United States. That's okay for today. What about next year? What about the year after that? What about 10 years from now? Every year we can't be buying $50 billion worth of American arms. See, this is something that Trump is not explaining because he can't explain. Not that he doesn't understand, but his crowd does not want to hear all these things.
So you actually touched upon how Trump's such announcement could affect India, and let's talk a bit more about it. With now India facing reciprocal tariffs, do you think this will actually strain U.S.-India relations, or is it just a negotiating tactic for a more favorable a trade deal?
Well, I think I don't think India-U.S. relations are going will be going down the tubes at all, because Trump understands the overall framework of India-U.S. relations, and I think one reason why your Commerce Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, is in the United States right now, or was recently in the United States, is to lay the groundwork of what the two countries can do by way of a trade agreement down the line. So here, but he has already given you a date, April 2nd. He says April 1 is not a good day because people will confuse it with All Fools Day. Okay, so, but anyway, April 2nd, but that is not the last word, because he may put into effect reciprocity with India, Brazil, I don't know. I'm just mentioning a few names: China, Mexico, whatever. He might put into effect in a retaliatory or reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd. But on April 3rd, he might even walk back. We don't know. We really don't know. But here it's a signal to countries like India to take this gentleman, very seriously. He's just not there huffing and puffing.
Can you actually tell me briefly if this move could actually set a precedent for protectionist policies worldwide? And if so, what long term consequences might we see on global trade and diplomatic relations?
Well, you will see, because China has said that they are taking the United States to the WTO. So that is one way. China has announced, tariffs on American agricultural products that will hurt the American farm industry. And likewise, every country. See, you do some, yeah, they do some, we do some. It will trigger a global trade war. It will ultimately have a bearing on the American economy, which, don't forget, is the largest economy on which many economies are dependent on. Close to about 150, 160 countries do trade, in one way or the other. We are only talking about the big players. There are little small fellows down the line, who will be impacted. So you're talking about a situation, if not managed properly, will go haywire. And that will affect America. And if Mr. Trump thinks that all these things will not lead to inflation in the United States, I don't know I don't know what his advisors are telling him. I really don't know. It will impact America. It will.
My last question is about how Trump's speech was marked by open opposition from Democrats. Some walked out, others, held protest signs, and Representative Al Green was actually even removed from the chamber. Meanwhile, Republican lawmakers overwhelmingly supported him. So, is this heightened polarization in Congress, or which is a sign of deepening political division? And how might it affect governance in the coming years?
Nisha, you really hit the nail on the head. You talked about one word, polarization. I don't think there could be more polarization in America today. They have already reached a peak. Now, for the Democrats, they better have an alternative plan. That is a party today that is in total disarray. They don't know what to do, they don't know how to do it, and they don't know who could do it. They have neither a messenger nor a messenger. That's the problem. What happened to the Democrats in the last 6 weeks? Where are they? Where are they? They are nowhere. Simply because when a group of them get up and walk out, that is not helping matters at all. What is your alternative? I would, one of the top Democratic strategists very recently wrote in the New York Times, the best strategy for the Democrats today is do nothing. Do nothing. Because, and he means it, when he says, listen, just don't aggravate the situation, do nothing, the thing will come down on its own. But I don't think the Democrats have really listened to any advice, and I don't know, they have to craft a message first, and then they have to what shall I say, recruit a solid messenger, because those yesteryear messengers like Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, they are way out of the scene right now. So Democrats can walk out all they want, but when they're walking out, they better think what they have.
Looks like interesting days ahead. Thank you for joining me, sir. Viewers, stay with the Federal for more updates on this.